If you go to my YouTube channel, go to Shorts, and then go to the most popular one I've uploaded, you'll see that there's over 300 comments talking about this. And what are they talking about? It's just a video of me doing Oblivion Lockpicking for pretty much the first time ever, and I was extremely bad at it. Not only were they hating on me for being bad at Oblivion Lockpicking, but there were some people that even thought Skyrim Lockpicking was harder. And that's where I draw the line. Tell me I suck all you want, but do not say Skyrim Lockpicking is hard. I've even went as far to say the Skyrim lockpicking skill tree is the most useless skill tree in Skyrim. And never put anything in lockpicking. This entire skill tree is useless. Today I'm here to prove once and for all that Oblivion's lockpicking is harder and in many ways worse than the simplicity of Skyrim's lockpicking. You can obviously tell I'm better at Skyrim's lockpicking minigame than Oblivion's. Is this because I played thousands of hours of Skyrim and only around 100 of Oblivion? Probably. I mean, no, it isn't. I'm gonna make this seem convoluted so I sound smart and you guys believe me, but the reason Skyrim's lockpicking is easier is because there are less variables. You see, in Skyrim lockpicking, there are only 3 things out of your control. Number 1 is where the sweet spot is, 2 is how big the sweet spot is, and 3 is the sensitivity of the lockpick's movement. The position of the sweet spot itself is random, but the higher the difficulty, the smaller the sweet spot is, and the more sensitive the lockpick's movement is. So the strategy for Skyrim's lockpicking is edging the lock until you find the sweet spot to make it unlock. You can achieve this by lightly tapping in different areas until you see the lockpick go in slightly more than it usually would, and it gives a slight audio cue. While there are 3 variables in Skyrim's lockpicking minigame, there can be up to 5 in Oblivion's. Each individual pin here is actually something that is out of your control. The pins have a few different speeds in which they can fall, and you have to click right as the pin reaches the top. This minigame tests your reaction time more than anything, but the twist is, without having any points in security, if you fail one pin, the rest will fall down, so each pin you successfully get adds more pressure to succeed on the next one. It does take finesse, but you could consider this a more direct approach of jerking the pins up as opposed to edging the locks in Skyrim. Jerking in Oblivion, especially when the lock is very hard, tends to be tedious and frustrating. Some people say you can close your eyes while picking Oblivion locks and just focus on sound cues, but I find it hard to concentrate on sound alone, and even if I did, why would I want to look away from the game just for 20 gold and an apple? Oblivion's lockpicking minigame has so many more layers than Skyrim's, and I find myself relying on luck more often than not. All this being said, I do not dislike Oblivion's lockpicking, I just find it more broken, especially when I'm trying to use a mouse to push the pins up, and I try moving it up but it moves left, and I move left and it goes up. There might be some Oblivion defenders about to comment right now that Skyrim is for babies and it holds your hand the whole way through the game, and Oblivion's lockpicking is way more realistic. I'd argue Oblivion showing you the inside of the lock doesn't make it any more realistic than Skyrim. Oblivion's lockpicking minigame is reaction time based, and Skyrim's is less reaction time and more finesse, which is closer to real life lockpicking due to its nature. Still not sold? Here's a practice lock. You might recognize this side view from Oblivion Lockpicking because Oblivion invented locks. If I turn it this way, you might recognize this view from Skyrim Lockpicking. See all the pins. There's no reaction time required whatsoever. This lock is also very easy. It takes nothing. It's just a practice lock. Notice how I can push up a single pin, add some tension, and it'll stay. There's no reaction time required whatsoever, Oblivion. We turn this side. Like Skyrim, it's just finding the sweet spot. Let's find the sweet spot. Now obviously neither one of these lockpicking minigames are realistic, but just because you can see the pins from the side doesn't give it any more of an advantage. Here's a regular lock. Where's the pins on this one? I can't see them on the side. It's almost like Oblivion lockpicking isn't realistic at all. Now, oh, look. Now we're in Skyrim view. After watching that clip back, I admittedly trashed Oblivion Lockpicking way more than I should've, but arguing realism doesn't make as good of a case for Oblivion as you might think. I think I owe Oblivion's lockpicking a few compliments though. If you find yourself breaking a ton of lockpicks in Oblivion, you can at least get the skeleton key without the game guilt tripping you into giving it away. Skyrim. You can also open locks with regular magic or the Tower Stone, compared to Skyrim, which only has the Tower Stone, which isn't even that good to be honest. And if all that fails, you can simply spam auto attempt, which is a feature that I would have liked to have had in Skyrim. I guess you could also level the security skill, but I'd rather not level something like that up, because if you've seen my channel, I focus on challenges like beating the game with 0 carry weight or beating the game with portals. Subscribe by the way, I put a lot of work into my videos and beating the game gets tedious. But for these type of videos I have to make a new character, so I'm not going to spend any time getting the skeleton key or leveling security / lockpicking if it's not part of the challenge. Who are you? I don't know. At the end of the day, if you grew up playing Oblivion, you will probably be better at jerking, but if you grew up with Skyrim, edging will likely be easier. And that begs a good question. Going forward, which lockpicking minigame will be used for future Elder Scrolls projects? Well, which game is newer? Yeah, that's right. This is a huge win for Elder Scrolls Online. They essentially took the Skyrim viewing angle and Oblivion's viewing angle and smashed them together, adding a timer at the bottom. The lockpicking seems cool, but I can't speak for Elder Scrolls Online because I hate MMOs. I think level 9 billion players running around with shiny horses that spit acid and cum blood ruins the immersion, especially in a series as beloved as the Elder Scrolls. I've never gotten the appeal of having a large amount of people packed into a server doing things that could be done solo. I mean, I guess I understand if you're playing with friends or doing PvP, but the quests in Elder Scrolls Online feel lazy, like the quests added in Skyrim Anniversary Edition. I really don't understand how Elder Scrolls Online has so many DLCs and even a subscription service that gives you access to the 9 quadrillion types of horse armor and fetch quests added by the DLCs. I hope Elder Scrolls 6 isn't pumped full of garbage like this. Circling back to Oblivion Lockpicking, I think it's a bit more charming than Skyrim's, at least from a roleplay standpoint. There is no denying Oblivion is the better role-playing game, but I think Skyrim is the better open world game. But I'm not here to talk about Oblivion's great guild questline and Skyrim's beautiful scenery. I spelled beautiful terribly wrong there. I'll save that for another day. To summarize, Oblivion's lockpicking is harder than Skyrim's because there are more things out of your control, and Oblivion's jerking is not realistic even compared to Skyrim's edging. I hope you enjoyed my rant. This is my first commentary style video and I think I'm kinda liking it. If you made it this far, please subscribe, like, share, click a video that's on screen, buy my membership, give me a foot massage, take me out, buy me a nice dinner, leave before I finish eating, stick me with the bill, break my heart, and make sure to comment whether you're an edger or more of a jerker. Before I put this lock away, since I'm using a lock on my channel for the first time, and probably the only time, I've always wanted to do this. Click out a 1, 2 is binding, click out a 3,